We're ranking the 10 gaming laptops you will want to steer clear of in 2026, sorted from the worst offenders to those that almost redeem themselves. From overpriced brand traps and raw power money pits to surprising budget disappointments, each entry is judged on value, performance, and how much regret it leaves behind. Which one sits at the very bottom and why? Let's kick things off with number 10. Alienware gaming laptops have always carried the kind of price tag that makes your wallet sweat. Yet in 2026, the gap between what you pay and what you actually get is wider than ever. The average cost per frame sits at a steep $3.10. That premium does not buy you top-tier portability or easy repairs. Hauling around a 3.6 kilogram chassis feels more like a gym session than a gaming break. And opening one up for upgrades means wrestling with a mess of mixed torques and Phillips screws. Even after all that, you are left with a palm rest that can reach 52 degrees Celsius during heavy play. For most gamers, the only thing truly legendary here is the regret. Alienware lands at number 10 for its brand-first, user-last approach. This is proof that a flashy logo and RGB lighting cannot make up for a heavy, hot, and hard-to-fix machine. MSI's GE and GT series promise desktop-class horsepower in a laptop shell, but the reality is hard to justify. Buyers can spend up to 35% more than on a mid-tier rig, only to see a single-digit boost of about 6% in average frame rates. That extra cash buys a 330-watt power brick the size of a loaf of bread, fan noise that peaks at 51 decibels, and a machine so bulky it barely fits in a backpack. For most gamers, these specs feel more like a dare than an upgrade. When a full desktop offers better performance for less money, it is tough to defend lugging around this much heat, noise, and weight for such tiny gains. Razer blade laptops have always looked like the sports cars of the gaming world, sleek, slim, and finished in that signature matte black aluminum. But under the hood, those clean lines come with a hidden price. Most blade models ship with soldered random access memory, so forget about future upgrades. Batteries are glued in tight, turning a simple swap into a risky job that often requires solvents and patience. When something goes wrong, official repair quotes often land at 60% of the original price, and depot turnaround can stretch past a month. Thinness has its limits. Extended gaming sessions send graphics processing unit temperatures soaring to 94 degrees Celsius, and the compact chassis struggles to keep up. For anyone thinking long-term, style here means pain, higher costs, hotter hardware, and the privilege of paying more every time you need service. Entry-level HP Omen laptops lure budget-minded gamers with tempting prices, but buying blind can mean rolling the dice on core components. HP product pages advertise up to high-end specs, including fast GPU and bright displays, but the fine print hides a maze of SKU codes and configuration traps. Retail units sometimes ship with lower brightness panels than reviewers receive, and actual GPU power limits may fall short of the numbers splashed across marketing banners. Without clear disclosure of panel vendor or TGP, buyers risk ending up with a laptop that looks the part but under-delivers in practice. Some users report Omen screens measuring closer to 240 nits, well below the 300 nit expectation, and lower TGP caps can mean a 9 to 12% drop in gaming frame rates compared to top-spec siblings. The safest move? Always verify the exact panel and GPU specs before checking out, because with entry Omens, sticker price alone does not guarantee real gaming value. Number 6. Acer Predator Helios entry models. Entry-level Acer Predator Helios models promise gaming power at a lower price, but the real story hides in the fine print. Budget SKUs sometimes ship with panels that struggle to break 270 nits of brightness, making daytime play a squinting contest, especially if you end up with a BOE-sourced display. Cooling takes a hit too, with some configurations dropping to just 4 heat pipes instead of the 6 or more found in premium trims. This cutback, combined with a lower GPU power target, often 25 watts below flagship Helios units, means frame rates can dip noticeably under load. Without clear panel identity numbers or TGP numbers on the box, buyers risk walking away with a laptop that looks like a Helios but performs more like a mid-tier Nitro. Anyone considering an entry Helios needs to verify the exact SKU and check user reports before buying, or risk missing out on the performance the brand is known for. Gigabyte Aorus gaming laptops have a reputation for strong hardware value, but the real challenge starts after you open the box. In June 2025, a series of critical UEFI and SMM vulnerabilities, like CVE 2025-7029, forced owners to update their BIOS manually, often using the QFlash tool. There was no automatic patch. Users had to hunt down the right file, flash it themselves, and hope nothing went wrong during the process. After those updates, secure boot was frequently disabled by default, and some users saw their fan curves reset, with idle noise increasing by up to 4 decibels. Regional support only added to the confusion. Gigabyte's EU and Taiwan teams sometimes offered conflicting guidance, leaving buyers to sift through forum threads for the safest path forward. For anyone not comfortable with firmware updates and troubleshooting, Aorus models turn a solid hardware deal into a riskier long-term bet. Number 4. MSI Katana and Cyborg series deliver some of the lowest prices per frame in the gaming laptop market, around $1.12 per frame in 2026. That is hard to beat if you are on a strict budget, but the trade-offs show up fast. The chassis is all plastic, with enough lid flex that pressing down can bow the panel by nearly 3 millimeters. Reports of cracked hinges and split palm rests are common, especially after a year or two of daily use. One legal probe into the Katana series cited widespread complaints about hinges failing under normal handling, and user forums are filled with do-it-yourself fixes and warranty denials. The display is basic, a 1080p, 144Hz panel with just 270 nits of brightness. It is fine for gaming in a dim room, but it looks washed out in sunlight and is a step behind the competition. On the plus side, Katana and Cyborg models usually offer 2 RAM slots and dual M2 storage bays, so upgrades are possible. For buyers who just want a game on a tight budget and do not mind cosmetic wear, these systems make sense. Anyone expecting long-term durability, strong hinges, or a vibrant display should keep looking. Acer's Predator. Helios 300 and Neo 16 models carve out a spot near the top of the value stack by getting the fundamentals right. They pack a 16x10 QHD screen that reaches 498 nits and a refresh rate up to 240 Hz, finally bringing esports level visuals to the mid-tier. Cooling is handled by a robust multi-fan system that manages to keep the GPU clocks at 92% of peak, even during long gaming sessions. While fan noise does spike to 45 decibels under full load, the chassis avoids the palm-burning heat seen in lower-ranked models. Battery life lands at a respectable 5.2 hours for video playback, which is enough for a day of classes or a flight, but not a full workday of unplugged gaming. The biggest strengths of the Helios and Neo 16 are their balance, strong performance, a bright and fast display, and cooling that does not throttle. They miss the top spots due to fan noise and only average battery life, but for most buyers, these are the first models in the countdown that feel like a true upgrade instead of a compromise. Asus ROG Strix 16 and 18 models hit the kind of benchmark numbers that make even desktop owners pause. These machines push out a staggering 150 frames per second in Cyberpunk 2077 at 1440p, all thanks to top-tier RTX graphics and Intel or AMD HX class processors. The real showstopper is the mini LED display, 1100 nits peak brightness, HDR that actually pops, and a Delta E so low it is a dream for content creators. Gamers get a display that is both fast and color accurate, with deep contrast that puts standard IPS panels to shame. Under the hood, vapor chamber cooling keeps the silicon from throttling, but there's a catch. Fan noise spikes to 52 decibels under load, loud enough to be heard across a room, and the 4.4 kilogram chassis is anything but travel friendly. For pure performance and visual punch, the SCAR lineup is nearly untouchable. But the noise, weight, and premium price keep it just shy of the crown, leaving room for a more balanced all-rounder at the very top. Lenovo's Legion Pro 5 and 7 series stand at the top of the 2026 gaming laptop heap. not because they chase the wildest specs, but because they get the essentials right and keep them right over time. In a 30-minute stress test, the Legion Pro 7 holds on to 95% of its peak GPU clock speed while keeping temperatures in check, 85 degrees Celsius at the GPU even under a sustained load. Fan noise tops out at a measured 46 decibels, noticeably quieter than the Scar at 52 decibels, and the chassis never crosses into palm roasting territory. Under the hood, the design is refreshingly practical. Both RAM slots are socketed, not soldered, and a pair of M2 bays sit under a single, easy-to-remove bottom panel. Upgrades and repairs do not require a toolkit worthy of a watchmaker, just a Phillips screwdriver. On the value front, the Legion Pro delivers an average of $1.80 per frame per second, beating out every other contender in this countdown. Street prices consistently undercut the flashier brands, but you are not trading away performance. In real-world gaming, frame rates match or edge out pricier rivals. Lenovo's approach to firmware and software support is equally grounded, with regular BIOS updates and clear, accessible service documentation. For competitive gamers and creators who care about long-term reliability, sustained thermals, and the freedom to upgrade, the Legion Pro series is the rational pick. It is not just about headline numbers, it is about a laptop that keeps delivering session after session, year after year. That is why Legion Pro 5 and 7 take the crown for 2026, balanced, practical, and built for the long haul. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.